Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you to this event. And first of all, I would like to present myself. My name is Daria, I am from EESTEC, LC Belgrade. And I have been in EESTEC since 2008. And usually I have done with publications and graphic design, and that's why I'm here to, I hope, teach you something new in Illustrator and Vectorial design. I'm sure it's going to be interesting to you. And if you have any questions or if you get lost during the way, just ask somebody next to you, ask me, because if you stay far behind, you won't be able to keep track. It's not going to be easy, so there's going to be some more complex stuff, some simple stuff, because all of you are on different levels. I think we can start, and you can start a vectorial design presentation without this slide. It's just the basics. So on the left side, we have the image, which is the raster image, and on the right side we have we have an Illustrator vector object. So for at first glance, they look exactly the same, but what is going to happen if we take a closer look? Anyone?
The raster one, you will see pixels.
Yes. So the raster one will look like this. Yes, it's made of pixels, little squares, and the object, the vector one, will look like this, because vector objects are each time calculated over and over again. They are a set of paths and a set of anchor points and mathematical functions. So each time you change, you zoom in, you resize the object, those mathematical functions are over and over calculated, so you get the same quality, picture quality. Yeah, it's pretty basic, but we can start. So when we are going to prepare our artwork later, we are going to use to have some. We're going to use some modifications at the beginning. You will see when you click on your new artwork, you will see some form window which contains these little things I'm going to explain to you later. The first thing, it's really important to know if you're making a web design or a print design. This is really important because of the last part, because of the resolution part. There are different resolutions for web and for print designs. We're going to work with different color modes, CMYK and RGB here. And it's important to know when to use the right mode. So, just for starters, for the RGB color mode, its philosophy is it's a screen presentation mode. So at the start you have a black screen, and you have all those little pixels on the screen, and each pixel contains a color. And when you light up all the pixels, you get a white. So it starts with black, and when you add all of the colors, red, green, and blue, you have a white. The CMYK color mode is completely opposite, and it's used for print. So when you're printing, you have white paper, and when you're adding colors to the white paper, it's getting darker and darker. At the end, when you add all 4 colors, 100%, you're going to get this black. So they are completely opposite, different philosophies. So you need to know if you're working for print or for web, to know what to choose, which resolution, which color mode. And about the resolution, we have some things like PPI, DPI. What does that mean? PPI is short for pixels per inch. So we have these two pictures here, these two flowers, and this is 1 inch here, this little white ruler, you can see. So in the upper picture we have 60 ppi, which means we have 60 pixels per 1 inch. In the down picture we have 240 ppi per 1 inch, and you can see, you can really see the difference in the quality of the pictures. At the upper picture you can count the 60 pixels, you can see each pixel. In the down picture you cannot. And the right one is not so obvious. This is, you can't see it, but yeah. You can see the down picture with 72 pixels per inch, and 72, this is really important, is usually used for web presentations. So when you're making a web design, don't go under 72 ppi. And in the upper picture we have 300 pixels per inch, which is usually used for print documents. So if you put 300 ppi, you're using it for print. So we are going to work with these things. We're going to use CMYK colors. We're going to use both vector and both images in Illustrator, just so you can have a glance how we are going to manage the pictures and the raster in Illustrator. We are going to use the print resolution, 300 ppi. It depends. We're not going to print or send it to web, but we're going to use 300 ppi. And if this is important, if there's going to be some space, it's called bleed when you choose the new document. And it means if you're doing something for print, if you're making a new document for printing, you need to leave like 3 millimeters on each side for the printing, because when your design gets on the paper from the printing machine, it needs to be cut, and you need to leave a little more white space over it, around it, so it doesn't cut your design. You don't see the white paper between the design and the borders. So why are we choosing the Adobe Illustrator? Why not Inkscape? Why not ColorMode? Well, I'm not telling you not to use them. They're all really good tools. Of course, you probably like these more than Illustrator. That's completely fine. But we are working with Illustrator because it's safe. Because Adobe has a large team of people constantly working on new updates and new technologies, and when you use Illustrator, you know that you are, you know the latest stuff, and that you're not holding back and staying behind. Of course, you could try all these tools. It's not forbidden. It's already kind of familiar, because if you have once opened Photoshop or InDesign or any other Adobe tool, you're going to have a very familiar environment, and you're already going to know where the toolboxes are, where the windows and other things. It's flexible. Everything you imagine that you want to do, you can probably do it. Depends on your skill, but you can do it. And it's compatible with other Adobe programs. Now, this is very important if you want to work with Photoshop and then import the image into Illustrator, or the other way around, or all Adobe products and tools are compatible with each other. So you have good compatibility, and they're very common. So you won't have a problem if you want to connect between these tools. And it can work with most vector file extensions like .EPS, .svg, and other ones. It can open those files, which is also really, really important. And this is the basic stuff. which you have to know if you begin working with Adobe Illustrator. How are vectors presented in Illustrator? They are presented, as I said before, like a set of mathematical functions that are each time calculated. And in the first picture, you see two dots, like A and B. And the dots in Illustrator are called anchors. So we are going to call them anchors. And between the two anchors, we have a path. So the line between the two anchors is a path. And each path is calculated so it fits the vector. So you can see you have a dot and you have a kind of arrow that finishes with diamond, and it's called handle. So every anchor has its handle, and the path between the anchors is always tangential to these handles. So you can see this is the handle, and this is the tangential path, and also here, and also here. And if you want to edit your path, and you can always do it in Illustrator, the path follows the new curve, so the new canvas over here. So each time you make a modification, your path will always be tangential to the handles, and always will go through the anchors. Okay. And this is the pen tool, the little pen. So it's cool, we're going to see it. And this is the interface. I think now would be a good time to start your Illustrator, because we're going to do some exercises. So just turn on Adobe Illustrator.
Which version are we going to use?
Which version do you have? If you have CS6, use CS6. If you don't, use CS5. I'm using CS6. Just so you know. Okay, so is everything here ready? If you see a darker background, you can change it. CS6 has a dark gray background, but I changed it because it looks better to me. Okay, so we start by making a new document. Go to File and then select New. And you see this dialog box that I told you about. We are going to name our file Snowboarder. And here you can set the size, the width, the height, and the bleed if you're doing it for printing. We're not going to do it now, but if you are printing, you can set the bleed like 3 millimeters, top, bottom, left, and right. And the advanced box over here contains other information. So which color mode are you using? We're going to use CMYK. The raster effects. So when your vector file is converted into raster, how many PPI it is going to have? And I told you, so 72 for screen presentation, 300 for print, and you can choose 150 like medium one if you want. And we're going to click OK. So we have the toolbox on the left side. We have the window, which is the left, on the right side. The menu is on the out, of course. And this is your artwork, the main part. And yeah, this is where the magic happens, in the middle. It's letter. We can choose letter. We can choose whatever you like. Okay. So we're going to start with basics. So choose. Choose the rectangle tool over here. We're going to draw a simple rectangle. So to open up the palette, just hold, click and hold and choose the rectangle tool. And then draw a rectangle from upper left corner to the down right corner. Yeah, so if you have done that, you can see that it's white because it has a white fill over here, and it has a black border because it has a black stroke over here. You can change that. In Illustrator, you can edit anything you draw. You can edit it after you place it on the artboard. Okay, so we don't want this white fill. We want to add some other color. And you can see this down over here. You have the color palettes. Click on it. If you don't see it, you can find it in the window. And then color. Just check it and it will show. So, the color. And then you have a small color picker. And now I'm going to take some bluish. Okay. You can also use the swatches palette over here. When you open it, you have a set of predefined colors that are there as soon as you open Adobe Illustrator. And you can use each one of them as well. So just click on the color and it will paint the rectangle. Okay, I don't want this stroke. I don't want the black borders around it. So I'm going to click here on the stroke to make it in front. And I'm going to cancel it by clicking on the none. So now it doesn't have a stroke. Okay, so what is happening with our object? We have the layers palette over here. And we can open it by clicking on the triangle here. And you can see that we have a path, and it's our background object. And I'm going to rename my layer by double-clicking on it. I'm going to rename it background. So double-click on the layer. You open the layer palette, you see the layer 1 by default, and then double click on the name, layer 1, and rename it. This is going to be our background. So, click OK. And one more really important thing we're going to use is the appearance window over here. If you don't have it, you can just open it by window appearance. If you don't see it, it's the dark circle on the right. And it contains, when you click on an object, it contains all its attributes. So you can see the stroke is none, you canceled it. You can see the fill is blue. You can see the opacity of the fill and the stroke is default. So the opacity, like transparency. And we are going to use this to modify our objects, modify blend modes and stuff. So for now we're not going to use it. And this is pretty dull, this blue color. We want to add some gradient to it. And gradients in Adobe Illustrator are like blend colors. You blend from one color to another color. And we want to make it look brighter in the middle, and in the corners it will be darker blue. Okay, so on the right you can turn on the gradient over here. And you can apply the gradient by clicking on it. And you can see the default is black and white. So you can just click on this black-white gradient and it's going to... Yeah, but make sure your fill is selected. I just applied my gradient to the stroke. See it? So we don't want that. Select the fill and then click on the gradient. And this is what is going to happen. And this is not what we wanted. So go to your swatches palette over here, click on it and drag it outside. So we have it over here. So just drag it from here. Okay. And then you can drag the colors from the swatches palette to this gradient over here. So you can see the first color is white, and you can see the other color is black. So I'm going to drag this blue over here. Instead of this white, just drag and drop onto the white. And I'm going to drag this darker to this black. You understand? You can change the... Yes?
I had both blue and black.
Okay, just you can drag the intensity of the gradient by dragging this little diamond above. When I move it next to the darker square, you will see first the light blue and then quickly the darker blue over there. And when I drag it to the light square, I can see just a little bit of light blue here and a lot of dark blue over here. So I'm going to set it in the middle. And you can add as many of these little buckets over here. If you place the mouse, like I did, under this little gradient rectangle here, you can see the plus sign. And if you click on it, you will get another bucket, which has the current color where you click. If you don't want that, if you don't want, if you just want two of these little buckets, you can click on it and click the trash can over here, so delete. So just make one, click on it if you want to delete, and you have this. So you can click. Okay. Okay, we have two types of gradients which are linear. This is the one we applied. It goes in the line. And we have the radial gradient, which we want right now. So we're going to choose the radial one. And you can see the concentric, it's spreading as concentric circles. And if you want to modify the gradient, so I don't want my light blue to be in the middle. I want it to be somewhere else. I can click on the gradient tool on the left. It's this little gradient rectangle over here. And you will instantly see the same thing. So you will see this little gradient rectangle over here. And you can change to the intensity of the gradient. I'm going to have some more light blue than dark blue, so I'm going to move this over here. And you can change the shape of the gradient by dragging the black circle like this. And now it's an ellipse. It's not a circle anymore, it's an ellipse, which is what I want. You can resize it by dragging the end, the square, over here. So I just want a little bit of dark blue over here. And you can position the light source by dragging this little circle over here. So I'm going to have my light source over here, like some kind of sun.
I don't have the circle.
The difference is 5. Okay, if you don't have the circle, just drag, you can rotate the gradient and just drag it anywhere you want. So rotation like this, okay, and moving like this. Okay, so you can move it in the exact same place like I did. Okay, so now we have a background. It looks decent. And we're not going to use it anymore, so we're going to lock it. And to lock the background, so you don't select it anymore, you go to the Layers palette and you click on the empty square next to the eye. So lock it, just like Photoshop. Okay, so we're making a new layer, and it's called Erase. We made a new layer, so we can work inside it. And we're going to use the pen tool because we want nice retro rays over this blue gradient. And we're going to use the pen tool you saw in the presentation. So just select the little pen over here. It should be third from the top. And we're just going to change the fill because the fill is set to gradient. We don't want that. We are going to choose from the swatches palette darker blue like this one. Okay. And then just click. So make a rectangle by clicking 3 times, setting the corners. So click once, twice, 3 times, and then click again on the first dot to connect. So
I'd like to open a new layer.
Okay, so now we have this rectangle. You can resize it, just make it big enough so you can fit the artwork. Okay, and now we're going to rotate it to make it and copy it so it can make this nice retro look. And I'm going to rotate this triangle by clicking on the rotation tool over here, and you will see this cross. Okay, and now click on the Alt key on your keyboard, and then click on the dot you want to rotate the triangle around. So I want to rotate this triangle around this anchor over here. So I'm going to press Alt and click on this. Okay. So we have a dialog box, and
Yes, from the beginning.
okay. Click the rotation tool. Then
From the pen.
just select the pen tool. Click 3 times to make a triangle with 1 dot, 2nd dot, 3rd dot, and connect. Okay, so rotation, if you can manage. Rotation, press the Alt key, click on the anchor over here, and I'm going to type 15 degrees. In corner. 15 degrees. And click on copy. Like this. So you have the dialog box. Okay, again. So I click on the rotation tool, I press the Alt key, and then click on this anchor over here while pressing the Alt key. I don't let go of the Alt key. So
Copy.
yes, copy. So I click and I rotate it. I type 15 degrees and it will copy. So it makes one more copy.
No. Sì.
Okay, you can just rotate by clicking on the black arrow and then selecting the triangle, and you have this little rotation. When you go over the anchors, you have this little rotation, so you can rotate. But you won't be able to rotate around this corner over here. So once more, to do the rotation, just click on the rotate key, rotate tool, hold the Alt key, and then click on the dot. And it's going to show you that. And click the copy. I can't enter it on this one.
Just make it fun, but
Okay, so now. I need it. No. No, I don't understand this. Okay, thank you. Okay, and if you have done this, okay, don't panic. Just press Control D as many times as you want, like this, and it's going to repeat the last thing you pressed. So I'm going to press it like this. Control and D.
but it doesn't make the
Okay. You repeat the copy. Okay, people, so just try to follow up. Okay. So now you should have something that looks like this.
Okay.
If you don't and don't want this little triangles over here, you can just delete the layer, the whole layer, so it doesn't get in the way. Just not to follow the
There's a shortcut to repeat. Yes, Control D.
Control D, the shortcut for repetition. So you repeat as many times.
Control C, and then Control D. Maybe
Okay. So just select whatever you make from now on. If you didn't manage to make something similar,
A shortcut for
Command D. No. Yeah, it is because if you click on Command D. Okay, so I'm just going to select everything I made from so far. You select everything you made so far, and go to Object, and then Group. To group everything into one object. And if you have done this, then go to the Appearance panel, and you will see the attributes of the group you made. It doesn't have, it just has contents in it. You can't see anything, but you can see this opacity and click on it over here. And you can change the blend mode. Now it's set to normal, but you have all of this in Photoshop too. And I'm going to set my blend mode to lighten, no, to multiply. So it blends with the background. And I'm going to change the opacity to 30%. So it's really, really fake.
It doesn't work.
Just select it, select the object, and then click on the opacity over here, change the blend mode to multiply, and the opacity is 30. Now blend modes are how the object in front blends with everything on the back. So now I have selected multiply. It means darken, to darken the front object with the background objects.
Yes.
And the opacity means how transparent do you want your object to be. So I want my object to be 30% transparent. So that's it.
Sorry, can you show me again how to copy because I'm not able to.
Yeah, it's in here. Yes. Okay, so now you can go to the layer and lock the layer 2. And we're going to make a new one. Okay. So you probably made something with this, something that maybe looks like or maybe doesn't. Okay, so whatever you made, it's okay for starters. So just lock this layer, raise layer, lock it, and then make a new one in the layers palette. So I'm going to click on the create new layer.
How do you do that?
Just click on the square over here, and you can see it.
Both background and gray.
Yes, we're not going to use it anymore, it's just background. So I'm making a new layer, and I'm naming it stripes. So there is a tool in Illustrator which is very handy, and you will use it most of the time. It's a pathfinder palette. So just so you can see what it contains, click on the pathfinder over here on the right. If you don't have it, then go to Windows menu and click on the pathfinder. And you can see this little box over here, pathfinder box. And it has a set of functions over here, and each function does another thing. So the first one is unite. So every object you select, it unites them into one object. Minus front does cutting, and it cuts the back object with the front object. We're going to see this. The intersect creates an object from two overlapping objects by taking the overlap paths. And the exclude just takes the opposite of the intersect. So it takes the parts that are not intersecting and makes an object out of them. Okay, so I'm going to draw an ellipse. Go to the rectangle tool and click Home, and you're going to see ellipse tool. And draw one ellipse freehand.
I have Illustrator in Italian and I can find
Pathfinder is the same icon. So the icon is here. This icon. If you can't find it, go to Window and
Le selezioni che tu metti sul layer fanno sul layer. Vai sul layer. Clicca sul pallino. Dove sono le sopra. Dove fai oggetto, group. E adesso passi. Esatto. Solo che uno ha già adesso devo arrivare più ma deve fatto anche un nuovo level nel frattempo. No, questo l'ha fatto lui secondo me.
So, draw another ellipse over the first one, like this. Okay. And place it like beneath. I'm going to color it different colors so you see the difference. Okay, so I have one ellipse on the back and I have one ellipse in the front. And I can place them so you can see both of them, like this. And now we're going to use the Pathfinder tool to select both ellipses. You can just drag and select both. And then go to Pathfinder palette and select minus front. And it does this. So again, you can go undo. I have two ellipses. I selected them, and I will select minus front. So go to minus front.
create two
Two
ellipses.
ellipses.
Ok.
So I have something like this. Good.
Vai su window.
Now take the rectangle tool and draw one rectangle like this. We want to cut off this piece of this object. So we don't need this part. Okay, we only need this object from here to here. And we can cut by clicking on the minus front like this, by using the Pathfinder tool. So just select this rectangle again, and select the object in the back, and click on the minus front again. And the rectangle just cut off the part of the object that was in the back. Okay, so we have this little raised stripe, how is it called? And just make a couple more, make 3 more. You can use Control-C, Control-V, copy-paste like usual. So I'm going to copy and I'm going to make 2 more. And you can position them, you can rotate them by dragging like this, dragging from the corners and the edges. And you can resize them too, like this. So I've made, you can make similar, you don't have to make the same piece.
Cliccando sul pallino
You
vicino
can rotate by dragging the edges. So I have like stripes using the Pathfinder. We made
circa uguale.
Okay, so make the new layer and call it circles. Okay, I'm just using a lot of layers because it's easier to work when you have your arts more well organized. Okay, so select the ellipse tool once again, and this you wait so much. Now this is important that you remember. In Illustrator you have, as in Photoshop, as in InDesign, you have these shortcut keys. And usually those are combinations of Shift, Alt, Space, and Control, or in Mac command option, Space and Shift. And you can resize the object and not change its proportions by holding the Shift key. So resizing by the edges and not holding the Shift key makes the object remain proportional. And we're going to do it now by selecting the ellipse tool, and we want to make the circle, the real circle, not the ellipse. So just draw, and don't let go of the mouse button. Just hold the Shift key, and you can see it makes a straight circle. Okay, you can't see actually here because it's a little flat on the projector, but on my computer it's a real circle. Okay, so just hold the Shift key and make it a real circle. Just make another one a little bit smaller and place it in the center of the first one, so they are concentric. And now select both of them, and we're going to use the Pathfinder again, and just click on the minus font. And we're making the so-called donut effect. So we're making a hole in the back object by placing the front object inside of it. We have this little donut. So just copy, make one more. Control-C, Control-V. And make it a little smaller by dragging on the edge and holding the Shift key so it doesn't lose its proportions. So you see what I'm doing? It's not moving only in height and width, it's remaining the same. So place it in the center like this. In the center of this one, like that. And you will probably have a snap, because you will probably have the snap to have option enabled. So now select both of these donuts and group them by object group, and resize them so they're smaller. Okay. And just make a couple more. Control-C, Control-V. We want to make this Vectorial.
How do you do them?
How do you call it?
How do you group them?
Object group. Okay, so I'm going to make mine a little bit various. Okay, so they look kind of like this. You can just resize them, modify them, color them differently. Okay, and just for the difference, I'm going to color this orange. You don't have to, but you can do whatever you want. Okay, so now I have this nice effect on the background, and we want to add some, because obviously we're making a poster, kind of poster for a snowboarding contest. It's an exercise. So make a new layer, and we want to add the snowboarder inside of our artboard. So I'm going to name my layer snowboarder. Okay. And the files you collected from the FTP, you know where they are saved on your computer. So just go to File, go to Place, and choose the file Light Trace Snowboard. So it's this photo of the snowboard you're jumping. Okay. And click on Place. And you will have this photograph inside your artboard. And just lock all the other layers because you won't need them. So you can't, if you lock a layer, you cannot select anything inside it. So we don't want to select any other objects. We just want to work with this picture. Okay, so
nuovo layer, snowboard, e quindi file, place.
This is a raster image in our vector design. And I want a vector snowboarder. I don't want a raster one. I want one with pixels. So there is an option in Illustrator where you can convert from the raster images to the vector. And it's called tracing. And you can see it in the menu, you can see image trace option over here. And what it does, it converts the raster images into vector, and you have different modes of conversion. So you can convert with 3 colors. You can 3 colors, 6, 16, just black and white, just silhouettes, just line art, technical drawing, whatever you want. We are going to use the high fidelity photo. So click on the triangle and click on the high fidelity photo. Where is the picture? And I don't know which photo we're going to wait. Yes, depends on the speed of your computer.
Adesso è Vectorial.
Vediamo cosa fa dopo. Di solito qui verso expand. Potrebbe essere, sai. Vediamo
Ingrandisci questo.
Where you saved it from the FTP. The folder from the FTP that you took. You know where you saved it, so it's in that. Okay, so what we have done now is we have converted this raster image into vector, and it looks quite the same because it was high fidelity photo mode. And if you zoom in, like holding Control plus, you also have a zoom tool over here, but you can zoom faster with Control plus. You can see that you don't see the pixels. No matter how close do I go, I cannot see the pixels. It's vector. Sorry, how do you convert it? Can you tell us? Image trace. You have, when you select a picture, you have the image trace option. Up or there. And you have to select the high fidelity photo mode. If you haven't selected that, then it's probably not the same. Image. Yes. And I can modify my tracing results by clicking on the image trace panel. It's this little icon here, over here, image trace panel. But it became black. You didn't select the high fidelity photo mode.
image.
Where is it? It's over. Well, I can't. It's here. I can't see it right now. Okay. I'm going to change the options for my tracing by clicking on the icon image trace panel over here. And
Double click.
just click on this icon over here. You see where my over here.
No, ma distribuzione alla freccia.
And we now have a full tone, which means it's coloring this photo in full tone, and it's using a lot of colors, 85 exactly. And I don't want full tone, I want limited. Okay, I don't want so many colors. Just click limited, and I don't know. We're going to wait for it once again, and we're selecting 30 by default. 30 colors. So it's going to be a little bit less detailed. You won't be. It's not going to look the same, but it's going to be vector, and it's going to have this nice effect of vector images. Now you can see you can't really. Okay, I'm just going to close it. You can't see the details the way we saw before, but it's vector and it's pretty nice. So I'm just going to click on expand so I can modify the picture. So click expand over here. And it's converted this image into a lot of paths. So now it's true vector. Every single path over here represents a part of an object, and you can edit each path, each of these
Ogni cosa ha una forma diversa. Come se fossero tanti quadratini.
and we don't want to edit them, we just want to erase. We don't need the rest of the stuff, we only need the snowboarder. So I'm going to erase everything except this roll over here by clicking on the white arrow key over here, and the black arrow key is the selection tool, and the white arrow key is the edit and the modifying tool. So when you make an object, you can modify it with the white arrow key by dragging its anchors, and you can modify the circles into ellipses by dragging on its anchors with the white arrow tool. And now I'm just going to select different paths with the white arrow key. So just go and select this corner, and you will see this selection. If you just press delete. Okay, delete it. Just press how many times you need. And I deleted a big portion of the background, and I'm going to do it with the rest. So I'm deleting everything except the snowboarder. If you accidentally delete something with the snowboarder, so a hand or a snowboard or something, you can go to edit and undo, or Control Z, how many times as you want. So just delete everything. I'm selecting and clicking delete. Okay. And we have this little blue dots around, which are part of paths that didn't manage to get deleted. You can delete each one of them separately, but I'm not going to do it because we don't have enough time, and it's a nice effect, it's a cool effect, like this. So you can select the whole snowboarder with the little snow particles over here by clicking on the black arrow key and clicking on the snowboarder. And I'm going to resize it by holding the shift key. So the shift key is remaining in the same proportions, and just dragging by the corner over here. And it's going to be small, like this, and placed over here. Okay. So that's one of the ways how you can convert the raster image that you have, if you don't want it to be the image, if you don't want to work inside Photoshop and delete the backgrounds and then import into Illustrator with no background, if you want a vector image, and this can be really handy. I've used it a lot when with the logos, when I made brochures and posters, and when you have logos that are rasterized and you need a really big dimension of the logo and the company sends you a really small one. So if you resize it as a picture, it's going to be really pixelated, you're going to see really low quality, you're going to see terrible quality. So you just use tracing and you convert it to vector, and then you can resize no problem. And maybe it's not the best solution, but it works. So now we're going to see how we saw how we can convert the raster to vector, but now we'll see how we can use the raster inside Illustrator without conversion. So we're just going to use the image that we have inside Illustrator. You just go to File and Place, and place the Photoshop file. It's mounted in Snow. Okay, and click on Place. And it's already modified file. It's already been worked on in Photoshop, but remove the background, and it's in case that you just don't want to trace the images. It's real raster images in your illustration. File Place, and I place the Photoshop file. Okay, so you can just move the picture to the bottom. So I move this picture, my picture, to the bottom of the artboard. Okay, so now in your layers palette, you can see all of these layers that you made. We're going to make another one. It's the last one, and it's going to be text. So now we're going to add some text to this, because it has an image, it has a vector snowboarder, it has a background, we need some text. And you can add text by clicking on the text tool in the toolbox on the left. Just click on it. And you have different types of text tools, so you can use the type tool. This is a regular tool. Just click on the artboard and you will see the blinking text symbol. You have the area type tool, which means if you have a rectangle, an ellipse, any path whatsoever, you can use this area type tool and just click inside of the rectangle or ellipse or circle, and you will type inside of that object. So your text won't go outside of the object. You have the type on path tool, and it's used when you have a path and you want to just create a curvy text, just flowing. So you first must draw a path using the pen tool, as you saw, or you can just place a circle or a rectangle or anything else, and just click on the path, so on the border, and you can type, and your type will go around the borders. Now we're not going to test everything right now, but you can try them. They're not hard, they're easy. We're going to use this basic type tool, okay, and just click anywhere on the artwork, and you're going to see this sign, and just type something. And you can resize your text in different ways. I'm using the shift, the plus, dragging the edges like we did so far. But you can change the size of the text in the window, type, and then character over here. And you can set the size of the text. You see the font size. Now it's 72 points. You can change the font. You can change if it's going to be bold, italic, or whatever. I'm going to use some different fonts, which is gravy. You can choose whichever you want. And change its color to white, for example. So we have something like this. Okay. And this is pretty basic. If you want to emphasize the text, if you want to apply some effects onto it, like we're going to do now, you must select the text you made and go to the effect over here in the menu and go to distort and transform submenu. So this one. And just click free distort. So you can modify, and you will see this little dialog box, and you can modify the anchor points over here and over here. All four of them by just clicking and dragging. So I'm going to make something like this in my text. You can make anything you want. You can drag it anywhere. Yes? I think. But I don't know the effects of it. It's probably going to lose the quality as possible. What do you mean?
Mi piace questo carattere kitsch per sé. Come l'hai visto? Quale? Non l'hai visto? B, che è la cucina nera. Beh, sai, è ah no, quello non ho visto. Questi spot non so qua, penso.
Okay, so this is okay. You have something like this, it's too big. Resize it until you like it. And we're going to apply a set of effects on this text that are really useful, and you're going to use them a lot to continue working in Illustrator. They're in the effect stylize submenu, and you have a set here: drop shadow, feather, inner glow, upper glow, round corners, scribble. So drop shadow is just a shadow, adds a shadow to the object. Inner glow adds in the inside of the path, it adds a bit of gradient inside the object. Outer glow does the same thing, only outside of the path. So it adds a bit of gradient outside of your object. Round corners just round the corners. So if you have a triangle or rectangle or anything that is pointy, you're going to have rounded corners. So this one. Scribble does make it's a cool effect. You can try it. If you have some object that has a fill and you click scribble, it's going to make a fill just like you painted with a pencil. Something like that. You can try it. We're going to use the drop shadow. And you get this little window. You can choose the color of the shadow, you can choose the darkness, you can choose the opacity. I'm going to say 40%. And you can choose the offset, how distant you want the shadow to be from the object. So you can make it like over here, you can make it really close to the object, depends on which dimensions you pick. And just what you think. And you can see the shadow. You can see that it's light. Okay. Now we have only one more thing, because we have seen the type tool, the regular type tool. Just take the pen tool, and we are going to make a path.
Can we make a break?
Yes, after this.
Okay.
So we're going to make a path that's like curvy. You don't have to be precise, but it's going to look like this. You know, a bit curvy with the pen tool. And okay, I'm going to show you how to do it. Pen tool is not easy. It takes me quite time to figure it out. But you have to have a lot of practice to use it. But you can use it for simple shapes like curves and stuff. You won't be wrong there. So you can just go away from your artboard and make a path over here. So just click anywhere you started, and you added an anchor point. You can see it over here, and just click anywhere else, and don't let go of the mouse button, but drag. Okay, and you can see the handles that we saw on the presentation. So the path goes tangential to the handles, no matter which way you rotate it. So just make something like this. Let go over here, and make another dot. Just click and let go. And you have this little nice wavy pattern. And it has this white thing over here because its fill is set to white, and it's a path. It has no fill. It's not a closed object. So Illustrator is trying to fill it somehow, but it doesn't know how. So it's filled it this way. It just doesn't look right. So just cancel the fill. Click on the fill here and click on cancel over here. We don't want this white to appear. And click on the type tool and select type on the path. It's the third one. And when you go over the path, just click on the path, and you can type anything. And it will go along this path you made. And I'm just going to copy my text so I don't have to type all the way around. Just Control-C, Control-V to copy the text. Just like in any other program. And I'm going to change the color to white and place it on the artboard. You can modify this text too. You can change the font, you can change the size, you can add effects like we did with this one. Even if you have this path already, you can modify the path by selecting the white arrow key, and just modifying the anchor points. So clicking and dragging and resizing. So if you don't like the path, if you like the path now, but you don't like it tomorrow, you can change it. It's not fixed. So that's it for the first part. That was pretty basic stuff you need to know in Illustrator. These are common tools you're going to use. You can do really complicated things with just simple tools like Pathfinder and these effects like drop shadows and with tracing and pen tool. And after the break, we're going to have a break now. After the break, we're going to have a few more exercises with 3D modeling, and we're going to see some more tools with aligning and stuff. So, okay. Of the exercise, the next exercise, and then we're going to have a small break, and then we have a logo design, which you won't do on your computer. It's going to be just about logo design, how to make a good logo design, but about that later. Okay, so right now, everybody back from break. Some people are missing, probably. They're going to join. Okay, so right now we have made this kind of poster. I don't know if it was tricky for you. It probably was if you're new to Illustrator, but you will get used to it in time. It's not that hard. You just need to practice, like in everything else. Okay, you can now save what you have done if you want to work on it later. I'm not going to save. This is what I have done. I'm going to make a new file, and I'm going to call it the world. I didn't set up anything, I just clicked OK because we're not printing, we're not posting it on web, so it doesn't really matter for now. For exercise, it doesn't matter what preferences you're going to pick. But when you do something on your own, then think about what do you need it for and what preferences do you want. Okay, so now I think everybody's here, almost. So we're going to do a little bit of, just a little bit of 3D, a little bit of patterns and symbols in Illustrator. It's not hard. You need to see. Maybe it would be easier than the previous exercise for you. So what you need to do is just draw a simple rectangle like this. And what we want to do is we want to make a map, like a globe, but in 3D. So we want it to be, to look like a real globe, not to be 2D, but a new. And we're going to do that by making a map, but not a round map for the globe, but the map you see in your books, like the rectangle one, and we're just going to wrap the wall that we're going to make in 3D with that map that we made. And it's really easy, it's just a couple of clicks, but it's a cool trick that you can learn. So, okay, just select the rectangle and paint it blue. Like this, and cancel its stroke because we don't need it. Okay, so now we have this like ocean. Okay, and using the paintbrush tool over here, and what paintbrush tool does is you can draw freehand shapes with the paintbrush tool, and it will just follow your hand and make the paths the way you move your mouse. So just click on the paintbrush tool and make some simple random lines, whichever you want. I'm going to do it like this. And I don't see it because my stroke is blue, and I'm going to change it to pink. Okay. And now I see it, over here you can change the width of the stroke. Mine is set to probably 0, but so I can't see it. But if you want to increase the width of the stroke, you just select 1. And you probably, and there it is. You're probably going to see it. Okay, so I have this one path. I'm going to draw a couple more. Like this. And like this. Doesn't really matter. Just draw with your mouse a couple of paths. So now that you can make this path, we are going to modify the path that the stroke isn't so uniform like this. We're going to use the special strokes that Illustrator has that look like paint brushes and really look nice. So color these paths that you made green, like this. And if you want to use the brushes, you have the brushes palette on the right. So the brushes palette is over here. And if you click on it, you will see some brushes that is Illustrator offering you right by default. But these are not all of them. So you can select by clicking in the brush libraries menu, it's this little arrow key down. You can select all sorts of different brushes in the library. So there's really a big set of different brushes that you can use. And just go with the artistic and the watercolor brush. So what I did, I clicked on the libraries. Here in the bottom.
Where is the
brushes? You can select it by clicking on the window brushes. So every window on the right can be turned on and turned off in the window menu up there. So if you check it, it will appear on the right. If you disable it, it will disappear. So if you don't have the brushes, just go to window brushes and it will appear. Okay. And I'm going to add watercolor over here. And you can see that I've got a set of paintbrush tools. And just select this watercolor stroke, number 3. Just select this one. Okay, and it will appear in your brushes palette. So you include it to the brushes palette. You can see it over here.
Yes, but can you tell me why I selected it? Because it is selected.
Just undo and do this. Okay, so now you select the path that you made and click on this new brush that you've added. So just click, and it will create these shapes and you just add them onto this blue rectangle like this. Just add. Okay. So now I'm selecting all three of the paths, and actually I can modify them by clicking on the icon options of selected object. It's right in the brushes palette over here. It's here. So when I click on it, I will get a window, and I can modify the width of the brush, the alignment. So I can flip the brush across. I can flip it along. I can modify its size. I'm going to make it 200%. It's this icon over here, options on the brush side. Okay, so I've made 200%. I'm not going to flip because I get pretty much the same thing. Just click OK, and you will get the same thing, only thicker. And now, keep in mind that these are all strokes. They don't have a fill. These are all paths that have a color. So you can't. It's not an object. It's a path. So you must, when you want to select it, you must click on a path. If you click here, or if you click here on the light and dark green, you won't select the object. You just select the object by clicking on its path. And we don't want that. You can convert the stroke that you have, like this one, to an object, so that you can have paths along the way of the stroke, and just modify them like any other object. But then you won't be able to modify the stroke width. So be sure that you've done everything that you want with these paths. This is the way they're going to stay. And then you can do this, just select everything except the rectangle, and go to Object, go to Path, and go to Outline Stroke. Over here. So what we want to do now is we want to create an object from this stroke. We don't want it to be a path, we want it to be an object. And there it is. So now when you select, you can see that it's a set of anchors and the paths, and you can change the color of each of these little sub-objects. Okay? So you can, object path, and then outline. I'm not able to change the color of my brush. Sorry? Just go Thank you. Okay. And now we have some sort of a map over here. But we need the grid that every map has. So we need the square grid that we're going to make. And just select everything and go to Object, Lock, Selection. We want to lock everything so it doesn't move. We can lock it in the Layers panel. We can lock it this way too. So we cannot click on it, we cannot move it because we don't want things to move around when we work on something else. Just click on this, or you can go to the Layers palette and just open up the layer and lock. You see that everything is locked. You just lock or unlock whatever you want. Take the line tool Okay. Line segment tool. And just color it strong to black. Okay. From here. And you see that it has a brush that we used before. We don't want it to be a brush, we want it to be regular. Okay. So just click on it and select the basic. Just return. We want a normal line, we don't want it to be so fluffy. Like this one. So just draw a line from one point to another. Like this. Okay, and now I cannot see it, but if I zoom, you can see the black line. So we have, it's really thin, so you cannot see it, but you can make the line. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some really handy shortcuts, how you can copy things. You can copy things by Control-C, Control-V in Illustrator, but you can also copy it faster and copy and paste at the same time by holding the Alt key. So you hold the Alt key and you drag this line that you made, and then you let go of the mouse, and then you let go of the Alt key. So you're holding the Alt or Option key for has a Mac. All the way through while you were dragging the line. And first you let go of the mouse, then you let go of the Alt. And it will copy this line that you made. And now hold the Alt, just copy. Hold the Alt. Yes, and then select the line. Hold the Alt. So now repeat. Repeat all the way, and you can repeat it by clicking Control-D, like we did before. And Control-D is a nice shortcut that remembers what you did previously with the object and just repeats it. So with this line, I copied it and I moved it like 1 centimeter. So if I click Control-D, it will just do the same thing. And if you do it again, it will do the same thing, and so on. If it doesn't work, I cannot make the if it doesn't work, you probably did something before, something after the copying, so it doesn't copy the thing you want, it copies the last action that you did.
Sì, non l'ho visto. But it doesn't copy it in the same orientation.
Una linea e poi con la freccina nera la selezioni,
It's normal.
ok, con Alt fai drag
Okay.
e la
I'm going to
copia.
show you. So now select all the lines that you made. If they are not really aligned, so some of the lines are sticking outwards, you can align them really fast by selecting all the lines and going to the Align tool, Align window over there to the right. So just select all the lines and go to the Align window over here. Okay. And this is something that you're going to use really, really often. You're going to be aligning objects. There are different ways of aligning. You can align object to an artboard, to your artboard. So your objects are on the left of the artboard, on the right of the artboard. You can align them between themselves. And right now, you can see
Align.
here that you align to selection. So that means that this is your selection. Okay.
Era del Pathfinder, c'è anche qua, questo qua.
So you align objects to this selection, to this square, this rectangle that represents your selection. And we want to align vertical top. Yes. And it just aligns everything in one line. And it aligns to this line over here, vertical line, the top line. If you click on the align button, it will align to this one. You have the align left, the align right, so you can play with that. They will do different things. Also, on the bottom of the window, you have the distribute objects. It is used when you want to distribute your objects evenly. So I have, for example, 3 squares, and I want to distribute them evenly to all of them be evenly distant from each other. So a couple of centimeters to 3. And I use the distribute objects group on the bottom. So each one of them, you can try them differently. On the side, each one of them does horizontal, vertical distribution. It's pretty handy if you have a really nice aligned design, if you want such design. Okay, so now we made this vertical lines, we need horizontal lines too. Okay, so just take one line and try to rotate it, but rotate by holding Shift key. So when you rotate by holding Shift key, you get only angles of 45 degrees. So you can only rotate by 45, 90, 135 degrees. With holding Shift key, it's very handy if you want to be precise. If you want it to be vertical and horizontal. So I have this horizontal line that I made, and I want to place it up to the upper edge of my rectangle and just expand it a little bit over here, like this. So I have it over here. And just copy by holding the Alt key and dragging down. And if you don't want it to move to the left or to the right, you can hold the Shift key at the same time. So when I hold the Shift key, I just lock it, so I cannot move it. You see, it snaps right into place. So I'm sure that it's not going to move a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. So just place it over here and let go of the mouse, and then let go of the keys. And then just Control D as many times as you need. So you repeat the last step. Okay. So once we do it, bottom. Yes, we have. You mean between and the lines? Yeah. I don't have this.
Vai. Allora, prima alt, muovila leggermente.
It just looks the same on the projector because it's flat. Okay, so now select the whole grid that you made, everything, and go again on the object tab and outline strokes. So we want to make, we don't want these strokes, we want to make objects from them. So just go to outline stroke. And now we've made little rectangles. From each of these strokes now is now converted to a really thin and long rectangle. And we're going to use the Pathfinder again, because each of these paths are separate. They're all separate and they're not one group. So you can group them, but you can also, because they all intersect, you can also unite them, and there is an option in the Pathfinder palette, which is Unite, and it just unifies all selected objects into one object if they intersect, if they have overlap. And these my objects have. So I'm just going to click on Unite, and you can see now I have the grid as one object. And it's not a group, it's one object. So I cannot ungroup it, I cannot modify the lines inside of it. So now that I've done it, I cannot modify things.
Si usa per le foto per aumentare il sono qualcosa di serio? Adesso vediamo se come lo messo in dettaglio.
Okay, so we have made this little map, and we can group it. First unlock everything, and you can unlock everything by clicking on Object and Unlock All, or just going to your Layers palette and cancelling the lock wherever you have it. And now just group everything, and we have this. I didn't group it. Select and group everything. And now we have this little map, which we want to save as a symbol, so we can later use it and wrap our earth around it, our ball around it. So just go to the Symbols palette, and in the Symbols palette you have a lot of nice symbols that you can use. You can just take them and drag them to your artboard like this, but we're not going to use them. You have the libraries just as in the brushes palette. You have different symbol libraries that you can use. It's really good. You have really a lot of them. We're not going to use them. If you ever need anything of this, make use of it. We are going to drag our group, so everything that we have made, into this. So just drag and drop. And I have this dialog box, and it's going to ask me, do you want to make a new symbol? And it says the type is a movie clip. It's not a movie clip, it's a graphic. And it's can you repeat from the symbol? Okay, just select everything that you can make, and drag and drop to the Symbols palette. And just select graphic, not movie clip, and click OK. So now you have your map that you can make in your Symbols palette, and you can delete it from here. And each time you want it again, you just drag it and drop it as much as you want. It's handy if you have something that you repeat a lot. So you save it as a symbol, and then you can use it as many times as you want. You don't have to copy it each time. You don't have to make it again. Okay. So now what is left is to make a 3D ball. Now we know how to make a circle. We need to make a 3D circle. So we're going to use in the effects menu, the 3D cell menu, and we're going to use revolve, because what revolve does, it revolves an object that you have selected, so rotates it around an axis. And if we take a ball and we rotate it around itself, we're going to have a 3D ball. If we rotate the circle, we're going to make a 3D ball. And we're going to see it in the next example. So just what we need is not a full circle, we need half of the circle. So just make this real circle. This is an ellipse because it's projector is flat screen. But just make a perfect circle, and we want only half of it. So we're going to take the rectangle tool, for example, and just draw it until the middle. You see how it snaps in the middle, in the center of the circle. So just draw it right until the middle, and let go. And we want to cut off the left half of this circle, so we only have the right, and we already did it with the Pathfinder when we cut the two ellipses, one from each other. And we're going to do it again. So go to your Pathfinder and just select minus front, and it's going to cut the back object and the front object. So the front object is the rectangle, the back object is the circle, and it's going to cut out the circle with the rectangle like this. So we have these actions over here. And the rest is really, really simple. If you know what to do in 3D, and I'm going to show you. So we need just to rotate this half circle around to get a ball. So just go into Effect and 3D and select Revolve. And we get this data block. So just go to select the circle, half circle, go to Effects, Menu, 3D. And just make your axis to be front, like this. And now, if you click Preview, like this, you're going to see what you made. You made a 3D wall. You can see the lights over here in front. 3D. Okay. What is that 3D?
Effect 3D.
Effect 3D revolve. Okay. So now turn off the preview. We don't want a black wall. We want our map to be inside this wall. So we're going to click on the map art like this, and we get this. And we see this little symbol question. So it's asking us which symbol we're going to use. And we have the predefined Illustrator symbols over here, and we have the world that we saved before. So just click on it. And position it to the white space. So the map should be your symbols where you see it. You drag and drop it.
Non è propriamente quello che pensavi.
And just place it on the white part of the grid, okay? And when you do it, then your job is done. We just click OK. Just check invisible geometry because the ball was black, so it's going to be black again with the map around it, and we don't want that. We just want the map. So just check invisible geometry so it ignores all previous colors that were on this wall. So just click OK. And okay again. And we have this. So what it did, it just wrapped this map that we have around the wall and made a nice 3D effect. And now, when you try to move it, you move the ball, you will see that you only have a path that is path in circle. So you cannot really modify anything inside of it. If you want to recolor something or edit, you need to go to the object and then flatten transparency. And when you do it, it's going to ask you to convert it to rasterize it or to vectorize it here. If you select 100% vector, it's going to be vector. Okay. And it's an object and flattened transparency. Then it's just in case if you want to edit something. So now you have a group of patterns and you can recolor each one. You can recolor edit with the white arrow. Each of these paths. Separately. Okay. So we can just add a little shadowing on the back, draw little lips, just paint it gray. The paint to fill, not the stroke, like I say right now. And okay, and we want to make a shadow out of this one. And we can do it by using the effects. And we go to the Photoshop effects down, and you can see the blur effect. And choose the Gaussian blur over here. Yes, and if you click the preview, you can see how you can edit it if you want to be more blurry or less blurry. And if it's okay, then it kind of looks like a shadow.
Perché non ho spiegato la 5
And okay, now it's the next.
I like 5 then.
Sì, vorrei
Non cambia.
adesso.
Un bel quadricolore.
Okay.
Sì, ci vediamo.
Okay. So now it's 12 o'clock. Yeah. And you're gonna have a break. After the break, there's going to be some logo design sessions. So you're not going to make anything, design anything, which is going to talk for 45 minutes or so. So go freshen up, drink some coffee for the next 15 minutes, and I'll see you then. Okay, if you have some questions, of course, you can ask if you have yes. Okay. Design session, and this is something that you all have experience more or less with, because if you have never made a logo, you know when you see a good logo, you know which logos do you like, which logos do you dislike. So you can give your judgment, you know, to everything. So you are already, you're not beginners with this. So why are logos important? Well, as with people, if you see somebody who is messy in the streets and has dirty clothes and is just, I don't know, not looking really nice, you're going to think, well, you're going to have a different first impression with somebody who has nice clothes and nice presentation of himself. But it's the same thing with companies. You can have a really good job, you can have really good work, But if your logo and your design are not really on the level, it can happen that people are going to not take you seriously enough. This is where most of the companies make you wrong, because they save on the logos, they save on the design, they don't want to pay enough money for it, and then they have an amateur-like design that is not really nice, and it's just kind of ruining their business. So the first impression is really important, and it's important that you stand out from the crowd, because it's a competitive market, and you need to be different from everybody else. And you can be different with your logo design, if not with anything else that you do. And if you have a recognizable logo already, and you make a new product that nobody knows about, but you put your logo on that product, people are going to buy it because they trust you. They have bought your product before, they trust you, and they are going to judge about you on the previous products that you used that are yours, and you're going to profit from this, of course. So it's logos and design, visual identity are really important. And there are two classifications of logos. The first one is we have iconic logos, and iconic logos are the ones that contain only an icon, like these. Of course, you probably know each of these, they're very famous. We have the logo types, which contain only text, and these are usually used by more professional companies than non, like the software and stuff. And you have combination marks, which are a combination of iconic and logo type. So you have the text and the icon both. And you have the integrated combination marks, like this one. So you have the text inside of your icon, like logo here. And you have the, I think, most common of them all. It's the standalone, and it's the text separate from the icon. So this is like what most small companies, starting companies use, because it's easier. You never know where your business is going to go to. So you can use either the text, either the icon, depends on what you're making. So this is like the best practice if you're making a logo for a smaller company or a smaller business that you don't know where it's going to go in the future. And it's really practical. You can use either the text like the icon, you can just do various things. And the second classification is we have static logos. That's the logos that stay the same no matter where they are, either on the website or on the phone, like Nokia here. And we have the dynamic logos, of course, which is Google. And the static logos are most common because if you make a dynamic logo, you have to be really, really known, really familiar, so people are going to recognize you when they see this picture, for example, and they're going to say, hey, it's Google. But if you're not famous and you make something like this, you change your logo, nobody's going to notice because they don't know about you. So, for starters, the static logo is the best practice. So in the next few slides, we're going to see tips and good design tricks, how to make a good logo, how to make an effective logo. So the first thing is do it in vector. Everything that we have done in the previous 3 hours can be used to make a good and effective logo, and usually best logos ask for the least amount of effort when the handling with the tool is concerned. You have to put really great amount of effort to make an idea and to think about it, but the best logos are just the simplest ones. And why vector? Well, because you can make your photo like a raster image, and you can choose that it's a really, really big image, so no matter how much you resize it, you always have enough pixels that when it's printing, you don't see the pixels on the paper. But you never know. Maybe somebody's going to print the logo on, I don't know, a building or something like that, so you're going to end up with something like this. And if you do it in vector, it's really easy to edit it later if you need some modifications. It's effective, of course. It has clean lines. It's really, the vectors are really logo stuff. Perfect for logos. And yeah, it's scalable, so you can resize it to no matter what dimensions, and it's always going to stay the same quality. So vectors are the right thing to do. And it fits everywhere, of course. It fits on the t-shirt, on the pen, on the brochure, everything that you're making. You can put your vector logo on it. This is well, this is a really good tip actually. To wisely choose your color palette. What does it mean? Well, every color has a different meaning. You probably know it when you see a red logo. What do you think? What does it represent if you have a lot of red and yellow and orange? Yeah, probably happiness. Strength. Yeah, or pots or something like that. Something exciting, you know, something flashy. When you see something that's blue or green or gray, that has yeah, colder, more professional, more kind of colder. Yeah. If you see something that is white, when you have detergents and stuff like that, they usually use like colors like blue and green and white because it represents cleanliness, you know. So each color does have its meaning, and if you are making a logo for an event, an association, a company, please investigate first to see what does that organization or company do, just so you can choose your colors and choose them in the right way. So the best practice, there is no best practice. So you can add as many colors as you want, but try to stick with 2 or 3, because this is this is kind of what the best logo designers do. They stick with a smaller amount of colors. Be sure that your logos have contrast. Don't do it all in one color, one grayish colors, and try not to use as much gradients, because gradients are not good for printing on like office material like pens. You cannot print it on pens and on shirts. You can, but it's a lot expensive, so people usually decide to do the cheaper version with only one color. So be sure that you have a nice set and balance of the colors. And your logo needs to be compatible with black and white. So that means that I have this picture here. So the logo on the left, over here, when you turn it to black and white, because every logo has to have its black and white representation. So you have a logo in color like this one, but you're going to need it eventually, a black and white one, for I don't know, for different kinds of print. Just for printing, like t-shirts and stuff. It's going to look like this when you turn it to black and white, and it's just not really good because it relies only on color. If you do something like this, then when you turn it recognizable more than the first one. So the fonts. It's important to choose the right one. So in the right picture, you can see all of these long fonts for different events. So you don't use these curvy fonts for wrestling match or something like that. You don't use bold fonts for something that is elegant. When something is formal, you don't use Comic Sans, and so on. So each font has its meaning, like colors. So you probably know that already when you see something. You know that elegant fonts are for elegant events, and so on. Don't use more than 2 fonts, because it's just going to make a mess out of things. When you think of a logo that has more than 2 fonts, if you have a really good idea that contains like 4 or 5 fonts, it's okay, you can pull it off. If you really know what you're doing, then it's okay, but if you don't, then 2 fonts at most. And they need to match, of course. So if you use, I don't know, these 2 in one font, it's not going to go okay. And of course, always choose a font that's readable. I've seen, and you've probably seen really often, some logos that you cannot read. You know there are letters, but you cannot read them at first glance. You need to read what it say. And I don't know, it's kind of not good practice to do that. So always try to be at least so people can read your fonts. Of course, always be original. Each year there are different trends in design. You can even Google it, the trends for 2012, whatever they are. But don't follow those trends like this. Just be open-minded. Think of something else. Always think it through. Match the customer's needs. So you will see often that designers like to do one type of logos, one type of thing. So they only do blue logos with a rectangle around it or something like that. But that's not what its client needs. Okay, so be adaptive. Just try to adapt to whatever your customer or client needs. Don't do it. Don't make a logo for yourself. Make a logo for the others. Because if you like something, maybe the people who you were working for won't. And don't copy. This is really obvious, but when you see this, then you get that maybe it's not. And this is all different logos that have the same icon, iconic design. These 2, and these aren't some unfamiliar logos. It's really famous ones, like these 2, and of course these 2. Here's the thing: don't copy. I know there are a lot of various things and logos on the market. You cannot know how everything looks, so you don't try to copy. But just think of something for yourself. And keep it simple. Like, I know this is really, really hard to do, because when you start designing, you start expressing yourself, you add some unnecessary details, like I'm going to add this circle here and this square here, and I'm going to do this and that. But it just complicates the thing. And the best thing about logos is that they are simple, and they can be used in different dimensions. So if you have a really complicated logo and you resize it to fit business card, for example, you won't see the details. So don't do it with so many details. Of course, if you have a logo that has a lot of effects, a lot of 3D, and you want to show what you know in Illustrator or in Photoshop you want to show off, don't do logos because it's just not going to go well with printing. You can really mess things up. And the good practice is to remove all distracting elements from your logo. Just keep it simple, keep the icon, keep the text if you're making the icon or the text, or both. And all the other elements are unnecessary. So it's for the rest of the design, the rest of visual identity. The exception, you all know this, I hope. This is a really complicated logo, but it's famous because it's the beginning of every cartoon I've watched as a kid. So yeah, this is the exception. It doesn't have to be simple, but this is really, really rare to see a complicated logo like this and that it's really known. Okay, don't use stock art. It's really complicated to think of something for yourself, to draw something for yourself. Okay, you know what you want, but you don't know how to make it, and it's really complicated, and so you Google it, and you find some pictures, free pictures on stock art, and you just download it and say, I'm going to use this as my logo. Well, this is unsafe because probably 100,000 more people have done it before you. You can use it for new ideas. You can use the stock art to see what is there, what people have used already. Yeah, this is obvious. So it could be my company or your company or anybody's company. You never know when you download something like this, who else has downloaded it. And if you download something that's not free, well, you may have a copyright problem. So don't do it. Just try to be original and stick to your own ideas. So probably the most important thing about logos is to make them memorable. So always try to think ahead, of course. Think instead of the customer that you're making the logo for, because you never know where the business is going to go. So the customer doesn't have to change logos every 2 years, something like that. So think ahead, think what purposes you can use the logo for, so you make it really adaptive to different publications. Yeah, this is the thing you said right now. So if you're making a logo just for the website and you make it fit the website header page, like the top of the page, and this logo of yours doesn't fit, doesn't go well with publications like business cards and stuff, then it's bad. It should go well with everything and everywhere. So try to predict in advance. And it's good to always, I like those logos the best, which have some tricks, something to engage you, that you need to think about it a little bit. What is the designer want to say? And this is really important. And of course, always, creativity counts. This is the hardest part of logo making. The longest part is this thinking it through. What am I going to do? What's the idea? What am I going to make it for? And then the whole making it in Vector and Illustrator or Photoshop is really not that much time. So when this is not part of the training in a few days. So the most important thing, just listen to what the customer, the client has to say. Don't think you're the smartest one, just listen to what they want. Investigate with the colors, with the fonts, what's the business doing, where is the business going to. So investigate a little bit, what does it mean, so you can use the right font, the right colors. Ask questions. If you don't want to investigate, you can just ask. And ask what the customer, the client would like, or the organization, or just be familiar with what you're doing. And remember that you're the designer, so you probably know design better than the one you're making the design design for. And don't try to push your design like the best one. Always listen, always accept ideas, but be free to offer your ideas. Like, you know, maybe this is not for the best, maybe I have a better idea, but if the client doesn't accept it, then okay, but you at least try. And of course, I would like you to comment on these. These are the logos that are just that I found, like bad practices. So why is it bad? Yeah, the colors don't match at all. Why is this bad? Is it bad? Old-fashioned. Too much detail. You see this is just not resizable. If you resize it to this dimensions, you won't be able to see. Also, I think it doesn't really fit
Dimensional fonts.
Yeah. So you have this. It's everything is wrong. Editable. Uneditable. Okay. Colors. Yeah. It's shadow. It's 3D. It's everything. It's too complicated to trying to show off that it didn't do very well. Okay, this I don't know. It's a logo for something society that helps children, and it turned out completely wrong. So it's maybe it's designed, but it's just wrong idea. Probably somebody who made it didn't pay attention to what he was doing. Okay, this. Yes, so the picture is exit picture, so everybody knows this picture is the way out, and the text just doesn't match it. So why would you use the exit picture for your transactions or whatever? Okay, the same thing again. There's nothing wrong here except the position of the icons. So always think it through. Okay, this is just bad.
This is the label?
Yeah.
The real store?
Yeah, this is the real store. It's just, you don't have spacing right. Okay, why is this wrong? Yeah, well, do you like it? I don't know. No. People really hated this logo. I don't know. I didn't like it either. It's too much details. Don't mean anything. It's 2012, but it's just unreadable.
Is it 2012?
Yeah, 2 years or 1.
I didn't.
Oh.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. So this is maybe good design, but wrong idea.
maybe wrong place. I mean,
Yeah.
if it has a symmetry a little bit or something, we can understand. Now we're searching for like an idol or something, not numbers.
It's just not really good. And that's it. Just remember to be creative, think through, and you're going to make your logo. There's going to be a logo session, logo design lab afterwards. So you're going to have an experience in making logos. So if you have any questions, ask them now. Okay. Then thank you for your attention. You're really an awesome audience. And enjoy the rest of the lectures and the rest of the. This is
Fammi il tasto.